Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure diorama review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane Batman Classic TV Series 1966 Adam West TV show, The Villain's Lair. This is going to be a playset in the Target exclusive McFarlane 1966 Batman line. This was the Villain's Lair from the 66 movie. Catwoman, Joker, Penguin, and the Riddler shared this. I'm really excited about this thing. I hope it's better than the Batcave, which was far too small for the figures. I don't really anticipate this being any different from that point of view. Either way, hope I'm going to really like this thing. I've been eagerly exciting its release. I found this thing at Target today. I would have picked up two of them, one to open, one to keep it open, but they were on some bullshit and told me I could only buy one. They said I can get another one if I come back tomorrow, which is utter nonsense. Target has no policy like that, but I didn't want to fight, so I just left it alone. So let's check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, DC, Batman, Classic TV Series, ages 12 plus, Villain's Lair. Here it is in the package. Looks like we have a ton of accessories. Some of the weapons are accessories the villains did not come with. A bunch of diorama pieces. Looking forward to putting the villains in here. Looking forward to seeing what other action figure lines will work with this thing. One side of the package, you've got the four villains. Villains United. Other side, pretty much blank. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case it helps anybody. And at the back side, here are the villains, and here they are in the Villain's Lair. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And here's the Villain's Lair next to the Batcave, both in the same line. Both dioramas are play sets for the old 66 Batman TV show. Alright, now that we got this diorama out of the package, here it is, laid out in front of you, and it comes with quite a bit of stuff. First of all, we have the back wall, got some bricks, and maybe a wooden wall on the left-hand side. We have a picture of all the villains in the middle, and that is not accurate to the film. Not really sure why, but I believe the original background was a big picture of an octopus. I don't know why they switched it up for this playset. We have a few bookshelves, a table, another table, a safe with cat food and catnip, big filing cabinet, an umbrella for Penguin, a little cup or teapot, a cap for Catwoman, a little vase you can put the umbrella into, a computer, and a bunch of chairs for the rogues. I'll tell you, so far, this thing looks absolutely awesome. It looks like it's going to fit with the figures better than the Batcave, and I sure hope that's the case. I like the Batcave for what it is, but it's grossly undersized for the figures, and frankly it was a big disappointment as far as I'm concerned. This looks to be a lot better, so let's get it assembled and check out all the pieces. So let's start off by checking out this back wall, and as I build this playset, I'm going to try to do it the same way as the photos are at the Target website. I prefer to do these dioramas the way they're intended, although if I see something that could be different and cool, I may try that too. So this wall here is a pretty good size. It's very tall. Looks like it's going to accommodate your 6 or 7 inch figures pretty easily. It's hinged here, as well as here and here. Looks like sort of wooden beams on the wall back here. So we have a picture of all the villains: Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, and Joker. Villains United. The detail on the wall is pretty nice. Good texturing. A little bit of damage. It's not just a bunch of the same beams over and over again. Even the paint job is nice. We got some shading and stuff going on. It's not all one solid color. A little fan right here. Jagged edge. Then we have the bricks. They look very nice. The paint, the sculpt is excellent. And a frame photo here of a bunch of penguins. Go figure. So you could have it completely flat, stretched out. You could have the edges put in, or more so like this, get a little cozy. I personally think it's probably supposed to be intended about like so. Now let's look at these 3 bookshelves. There are 3 bookshelves and 4 rogues, so one of them's going to not have a bookshelf. They all say private on them. This one says riddles with a couple question marks. A bunch of books here, presumably some have riddles on them. Backside, quite hollow. This could be nice for Bookworm, but the fact it says Riddles up there, pretty specific for Riddler. Next one here says Jokes, Private. I can't imagine all these accessories were here in the film, but I could be wrong. We have the crowbar, the chattering teeth, some flowers, camera, a lot of Killing Joke types accessories. The fake face there, nose, mustache, nice joke props. And then the third one, this is the penguins, Private, penguin food, an umbrella, some stuffed penguins, the octopus, and some books. And the picture of the Target app has the bookshelves on the right hand side like so. Now let's look at this filing cabinet. As you can see at the top, assorted files, red files, green files, orange files, blue files, and yellow files. Just like before, it's pretty hollow. And this is where the filing cabinet is shown on the website pictures. Now let's look at Catwoman's safe. I guess the other three rogues get a bookshelf, and she gets a safe. As you can see, it's personal, contains cat food and catnip. We have the handle for the safe here. Hollow, as expected. I think this thing is pretty awesome. And it looks like the safe is supposed to go next to the filing cabinets. Now let's look at this table and computer. The table itself is brown. It's got a couple holes for the computer to attach. 4 legs. Pretty basic. But I can definitely always use a table for action figures. Then we have this computer here. Old school. All these knobs and dials. A couple of sort of meters down here. It's got a couple pegs to plug in the table. And it's quite hollow. Here's the computer on the table, fully assembled. And here's where the demonstration pictures show the computer being on the left side of the diorama. Now let's check out this vase and umbrella. Finally get an umbrella. You can give us your penguin figure from the 66 show. That figure came with no traditional accessories. Looks pretty good. Basic umbrella. Great for penguin. Then there's a little vase here. Done in sort of a teal color. Hollow. Should be able to put the umbrella inside there. And of course, umbrella fits in there perfect. Sticks out enough, penguin can grab it and go. Here's Penguin. He's got that umbrella draped across his wrist. Unfortunately, his hand is just too thick to hold the umbrella properly. Put it in there, it just has no grip whatsoever. A little disappointing there. You have this accessory that the figure didn't come with, and it's Penguin's signature weapon, and he can't even hold the one that came with this set unless you do this. And the picture of the line show this umbrella and vase between the computer and the filing cabinet. Now let's look at this cat. Cat's in all black. Pretty basic on the detail. Even the sculpting on the face is really, really soft. Now it's a cool accessory for Joker. And that's a joke in itself. It's obviously for Catwoman. Looks a little funky on the side there. Not sure what's going on with that. Then we also have this cup and a little plate. Pretty big size. Both the plate and the cup are done in this sort of brown or copper color. Honestly, I think it looks kind of bad. These two accessories are supposed to go on the table, which we'll check out next. Now we have the base of the table and the top of the table with the tablecloth on. Red, flat surface. You can see the tablecloth sort of representing cloth. And the base here, obviously the table's going to plug into that. Here are those two pieces attached together. Table doesn't look half bad. Add the cap and the cup to the top of the table. Most households, they don't want the cats on the table, but I'm sure Catwoman doesn't care at all. And the final accessory, these chairs. There are 4 of them, 1 for each of the rogues. The chairs are done in a brown color. They look pretty shitty and cheap, but hopefully they'll get the job done for the figures. Then we put these 4 chairs around the table, and here it is, the diorama, or playset, whatever you want to call it, is fully assembled. And to tell you the truth, I think it looks great. I'm much more impressed with this than the Batcave. The Batcave just had so many pieces that were far too small for the figures. They couldn't utilize the ladder. They just looked so out of scale. This appears to not suffer from some of the same problems, but we'll check that out shortly. We'll get some figures in here in a minute. Now let's check out the measurements of this thing, in case you want to know if you have the space to accommodate it. Now this is the way it's set up, based off the Target website, so I'll let you know how big that is. But it could really be set up any way you want. So as far as how wide it is, from one side to the other, about 21 inches wide. As far as how far it sticks with all the accessories, probably about 8 inches. But keep in mind, this thing here is maybe a ½ inch thick. This could be a back part of one of your shelves. It doesn't have to stick out 8 inches at all. That's just about how big it is when it's set up like this. I measured the back wall at 21 inches. It actually could go even a little further. From the edge accessory to this one, almost 28 inches wide. But like I said before, you can set this thing up pretty much any way you want. And this would be the part I would normally show off the action features, but it really doesn't have any. Sure, there's all kind of background pieces you can have the figure stand next to, the computer, the bookshelves. Penguin can hold his umbrella. The figures can sit in the chairs. That's really about it. I wish Catwoman's safe would open, or the filing cabinets. But don't forget, this entire thing was $30. A typical 7-inch figure is about $20 by McFarlane. So from that point of view, getting a diorama like this for $10 extra, it's a very fair price. Now let's get some guys in this thing. This being the villain's lair. Let's focus on the villains. Here are the 4 rogues that teamed up together in the 66 film. Catwoman, Riddler, Penguin, and the Joker. They actually look fantastic with this background piece. They seem to scale up about perfect with the accessories and the actual diorama. So for that, I applaud you, McFarlane. You don't have the same mistakes you had with the Batcave. I just find that Batcave very frustrating and out of scale. And here are the villains sitting at the table together. Catwoman and Riddler sit down, no problem. Joker was quite rough. He's got this sort of tail to his jacket. His folds down and you can get him to sit there. But Penguin, his butt is not on the seat. His jacket tail is thicker and harder to bend than Joker's. Those two guys might be a little better off just staying next to the table instead of sitting down. Either way, this is a really cool scene. These rogues together, planning something nefarious, planning to take down Batman and Robin. Here's a closer look at Penguin sitting on the chair. This is about the best you're going to get with him, and it's a little bit disappointing. The tailless jacket is just far too stiff. You can't bend it down like Joker's. It still looks decent if you have him at the back side of the table. Can't quite see how awkward it looks. Here's an image of all 4 of the rogues sitting at the table. They're playing poker with each other. Of course, each and every one of them has a trick up their sleeve. These are villains. You know they're going to cheat. And one of the first things I was curious about when I saw this villain's lair is, will it accommodate your 7-inch scale McFarlane DC Multiverse figures? And the answer is, yes it will. I swear, all the issues with the Batcave, they completely made up for with this villain's lair. It is scaled perfect with the figures. It is big enough for your larger figures. All of my disappointing and kind of shitty feelings about the Batcave, they totally made up for it with this thing. Thank you, McFarlane, for not making another playset that doesn't even work with the figures it's intended to. In fact, it works with even more figures. Here's the only version of Catwoman, Riddler, and Penguin McFarlane has made. They're all from The Batman. I can't wait for the Arkham City releases of Catwoman and Penguin because they're kind of similar to their comic counterparts. And of course, this is the most similar McFarlane Joker to the 66 version. He's in that pink outfit. They all fit in great with the background pieces. There's at least 3 or so inches of clearance above them, even more. I cannot tell you how pleased I am that these type of figures fit this thing. 2 thumbs up. Thank you, McFarlane. Here are the 7-inch scale McFarlane figures, sitting around a table playing poker. Of course, I had to provide some different chairs and a different table. Wrestling chairs and a wrestling table. But it works. Looks great with this diorama. Now, mildly amusing, this Penguin has a similar problem to the other one. He pretty much has to stand there. His jacket tail, although his is a trench coat, is just way too long and in the way. Still, it's a pretty badass look right here. Wish we had more regular versions of Catwoman, Riddler, and Penguin, but I'm sure they're coming in time. Now let's check out some action figures from different various companies with this playset or diorama to see how they fit in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix with this thing. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the smaller action figure lines I collect and work my larger. Now some of these smaller action figures will work with the table that came with this, and like you saw before, some of the larger figures will need a different table and chairs. Here are some Jazzwares Fortnite figures in this diorama. I love how big the walls are. It'll accommodate anything at least up to 8-inch figures. And here are some SH figure arts in this diorama. Then some Hasbro Marvel Legends in front of this thing. And here are some Mafex figures standing in front of the diorama. Then some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures in front of this playset. And here are some Mezco 112 collective figures in front of this. Then some Mattel wrestling figures in front of this set. And now some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers in front of the Lair. And here's some NECA 7-inch scale figures in front of this Villain's Lair. Then some DC Direct and DC Collectibles in front of the playset. And now here's some McFarlane 7-inch scale figures in front of this diorama. And here's some DST or Diamond Select toys standing in the Lair. And finally, some Jakks-specific wrestling figures in front of this thing. Jakks-specific wrestlers are about the largest thing I collect. I don't exactly collect them, but I have a bunch of regular suited figures. They work for some good civilians, mobsters, thugs, etc. They're pretty big, and they fit just fine in this thing. So overall, I really like this diorama or playset. It is fantastic. When I got the Batcave, I had read it was severely underscaled for the figures, so I didn't open it for months and months. When I finally did, and bust out a video on that thing, they were totally right. It was extremely disappointing. The Batmobile is underscaled for the figures, and the Batcave is even worse. It looks okay, very toyetic, but it was like that in the show. Figures can't use a ladder, they can't use the platforms. The computers are around their knees. It's just insanely bad. And I get McFarlane wanted to keep it a good value, $30, but I would have happily paid $50 for a better Batcave. Now this Villain's Lair, this thing is $30, about $10 more than a typical 7-inch figure. And it's a great value, looks fantastic. The sculpt and paint job are excellent. The bricks, the wooden boards, the bookshelves, even though they're cheap and hollow, they look great. This might be my favorite thing in the entire McFarlane 1966 line. As a whole, I'm disappointed with how small the figures are, but I still like them. The articulation is kind of mediocre, but it's a retro line. The figures look good, but this diorama has completely made up for all the bullshit the Batcave put me through. I like it a lot. It's very basic, just a back wall and a few bookshelf, safe, etc. type of accessories, and they're all kind of cheap and hollow feeling. But it all works. It works great, it looks great, and it works with a big amount of different action figure lines. I was very excited. The McFarlane DC Multiverse figures look fantastic in this thing. I give this thing 2 thumbs up. If I were to rate this thing, I'm going to give it a very strong 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, I think it is my favorite release in this entire McFarlane Batman Classic TV Series retro line. And that is a bold statement. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure diorama and action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.